Jim Buss was practically born with a gold and purple spoon in his mouth. Think about it. His dad, the legendary Dr. Jerry Buss, buys the Los Angeles Lakers in 1979. Suddenly, the Buss kids are living a life most sports fans can only dream about. They weren't just watching the games from the nosebleeds, they were living inside the machine. Jim was right there, a kid hanging around Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Pat Riley. During the Showtime era, he got a front-row seat to one of the greatest dynasties in sports history, on the court and behind the scenes. This wasn't just about watching basketball, it was a real-time, high-stakes education. That kind of access is priceless. Jim saw the deals get made. He heard the locker room chatter. He watched his father navigate egos and multi-million-dollar contracts. The Forum wasn't just an arena, it was his family's living room and his classroom. Before Jim Buss ever made a trade, he took a detour that most people forget. He didn't just waltz into the Lakers front office straight out of high school. He actually went to college at USC, and then got a law degree. For a while, he even worked as a lawyer. This part of his story is crucial. Being a lawyer teaches you a very specific set of skills. You learn how to dissect dense contracts, you learn to spot loopholes, and think 10 steps ahead in a negotiation. You learn to pay attention to the fine print, the kind of boring details that can make or break a multi-million-dollar deal. After his stint in the legal world, the pull of the family business was too strong to ignore. Jim decided to officially join the Lakers organization, but he didn't start at the top. He began in roles that were more about learning the ropes than calling the shots. Think of it like a royal apprenticeship. He spent time learning about scouting, player development, and the day-to-day grind of running a team. He was watching legendary figures like Jerry West operate, seeing how they evaluated talent and built rosters. His ascent within the Lakers hierarchy was a story of gradually increasing responsibility. Eventually, he landed the big title, Executive Vice President of Basketball Operations. This put him in the driver's seat, making him one of the primary decision-makers for all things basketball. A huge part of Jim's job was managing relationships. You can't run an NBA team from an ivory tower. He had to build a network of people he could rely on. Head coach, international scouts. He had to work with powerful player agents, navigate delicate conversations with other team executives, build a front office staff that shared his vision. This is the unglamorous side of the business. It's about countless phone calls, late-night meetings, learning who you can trust. He made key hires, bringing in people he believed could help him find the next great Laker. He learned the art of delegation, empowering his team to do their jobs while he focused on the bigger picture. When it came to team strategy, Jim was at the center of the storm. After the Phil Jackson championship years, after the Kobe Bryant championship years, the team faced an inevitable decline. The challenge was immense. How do you rebuild a legendary franchise when your superstars are aging? Jim was tasked with steering the ship through these choppy waters, trading beloved veterans, taking chances on young talent in the draft, trying to lure new stars to Los Angeles. The goal was always to sell tickets, keep the Lakers brand as a global powerhouse, even when the team wasn't winning championships. It was a constant balancing act between on-court performance and off-court business. The post-Kobe era was Jim's ultimate test. The team was in a full-blown rebuilding mode, a situation the Lakers hadn't really been in for decades. He and general manager Mitch Kupchak made a series of moves aimed at acquiring young assets. D'Angelo Russell, Julius Randle, Brandon Ingram. The strategy was clear: accumulate young, high-potential talent and hope some develop into stars. This approach was a major departure from the Lakers' traditional method of trading for or signing established superstars. It was a long-term play, requiring patience from a fan base that wasn't used to waiting. Of course, not every move was a home run. The hiring of Mike Brown drew criticism. The hiring of Mike D'Antoni drew criticism. the infamous trade for Dwight Howard. The plan was to create a new dynasty with Kobe Bryant and Steve Nash. It ended in a spectacular flameout after just one season. These public failures were part of the job, magnified by the Laker spotlight. For every successful draft pick, there was a trade or free agent signing that didn't pan out. Jim had to navigate this constant cycle of wins and losses while trying to build a team to return to the top of the NBA mountain. But one thing was clear: Jim Buss was no longer just the owner's son. He was a central figure in the Lakers' basketball operations, for better or for worse. Or, let's talk about the money, because in professional sports, that's what it always comes down to. During Jim Buss's tenure in the front office, the financial value of the Los Angeles Lakers skyrocketed. This wasn't just because of a few good trades. It was about the rising tide of the entire NBA. Massive new television deals, growing international popularity, expanding digital media rights sent the value of every franchise into the stratosphere. As part owners, the Buss family reaped the benefits of this incredible boom. The team they bought for $67.5 million in 1979 was suddenly worth billions. Jim was right in the middle of it, a steward of one of the most valuable assets in all of sports. Jim's financial success wasn't just tied to the team's overall valuation. As a high-level executive, he earned a substantial salary. But the real wealth came from the family's ownership stake. The Lakers were a cash cow: ticket sales, merchandise, their landmark local television deal with Time Warner Cable, now Spectrum Sportsnet. This created multiple streams of income that flowed back to the Buss family, solidifying their status as one of the wealthiest families in sports. However, running the team's finances also meant dealing with massive expenses. Player salaries in the NBA are astronomical. Jim was involved in negotiating some huge contracts, including the 2-year, $48.5 million extension Kobe Bryant signed near the end of his career. That deal was criticized by some for limiting flexibility, but it was also seen as a reward for a franchise legend. The first and most obvious one comes from his legal background. Always understand the contract. Know exactly what you're signing. Know the terms. Know the long-term implications. In the world of NBA deals, contracts are full of complex clauses, trade kickers, player options, luxury tax penalties. For the average person, it's just as important. Mortgage, car loan, job offer, read the fine print. It can save you a world of trouble. Jim's training as a lawyer gave him a huge advantage here. Another key takeaway is the importance of long-term planning. Some of his short-term moves were criticized. The rebuilding phase was focused on the future. He was accumulating assets, young players, draft picks. This is a classic investment principle. It's easy to get caught up in chasing quick wins. Sustainable wealth is often built through patient, long-term strategies. Don't sacrifice your future financial health for a small, immediate gain. This mindset is crucial, whether you're managing a basketball team's salary cap or your own retirement fund. Diversification is another lesson straight from the Buss family playbook. Jim's wealth wasn't tied solely to the Lakers. He and his family had investments in other areas, particularly real estate. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. By having assets outside the sports world, he protected his wealth from volatility. For anyone building wealth, spread investments across asset classes, stocks, bonds, real estate. This is a fundamental way to manage risk and ensure stability. Jim Buss's business interests weren't confined to the basketball court. Like his father, he understood the value of a diversified portfolio. The Buss family as a whole has long been involved in real estate, and Jim was no exception. He personally owned a number of properties, including a notable penthouse in Los Angeles and other residential real estate holdings. This focus on property is a classic wealth-building strategy. Real estate can provide a steady stream of rental income, and has the potential for significant long-term appreciation, acting as a stable anchor. The Buss family's ownership extends beyond just the Lakers. Over the years, they held stakes in a variety of sports and entertainment-related ventures. This included ownership of other sports teams at different times: the Los Angeles Lasers of the Major Indoor Soccer League, the Los Angeles Strings of World Team Tennis. This pattern shows a clear investment thesis: stick to what you know. They understood how to promote events, sell tickets, and build a fan base. Beyond direct ownership, Jim's financial world included investments in various companies and projects. The family's wealth was managed through a trust which likely held stocks, bonds, and private equity stakes. They invest in a mix of industries to spread risk and capture growth. The list paints a picture of a family deeply embedded in the Southern California economy. Owning a world-famous global brand like the Lakers, while also holding local real estate and investing in a variety of other ventures, is a powerful formula for wealth creation and preservation. In the end, Jim Buss's legacy with the Lakers is complicated, and there's no simple way to score it. You have to look at the whole picture. He was born into an incredibly privileged position, the son of a sports icon, and was handed opportunities most people can only dream of. He didn't build the empire, but he was tasked with helping to run it, and later, with keeping it afloat during one of its most difficult transitions. He was the prince who was supposed to become king, and that's a tough role for anyone to play, especially when your father is one of the most beloved and successful owners in sports history.